I'm trying to think. Herpes is uncurable. HIV is incurable. I'm gonna stop there. I can't remember any of the other.
I get the rule of thumb is if it starts with an H, you can't cure it.
Yeah. So the way I remember this is the ones that begin with the H, even though they're the H ones, right? So we have HIV, which we know it cannot be cured, but can be treated. We have herpes, or what we call herpes simplex virus, or herpes. We have HPV, which is human papilloma virus, and hepatitis B.
No, that's not true. You don't always know when you have STD.
False.
That is definitely false. I think again, because we don't know, so you don't know until you know, right? You don't know until you get tested, for sure, right? That's how we know. But one of the most common symptoms, especially amongst men, is like there's really no symptom at all. Most people think that, oh, there's burning, there's this, there's that. Well, one of the most common symptoms is like no symptom at all. So we can be unknowingly passing STIs and STDs onto people without knowing. So the only best way to know is to get tested. Most definitely. One of the prevention things one of my favorite prevention tools that I like to put out there is that we want to lube, and like use lube. And if you think it's too much, add some more, because we want to lower friction, right? The whole thing is about protecting our pink parts, the thing we call PPP. You want to protect your pink parts, which are basically like the avenues in which STIs and things can like make their way into our system. So if we use lubricant, we reduce the amount of like friction, and therefore reduce the amount of like abrasions and things like that can happen to our pink parts. So using lube reduces those chances.
It is true that lubricant can lower your chances to contract an STI, because it's less friction and less tearing of the tissueage, and it's much more comfortable. My favorite is the platinum.
False. Well, I don't know. That one to me is really complicated. And I was like thinking about this question when I read it, and I'm like, on one hand, if you use lubricant, let's say if you're having like anal sex, that might prevent you from like tearing the walls of your anal cavity as much, which would be safer than just doing the spit thing. Depending on what kind of lube you're using, and if you're using condoms, it can, because like certain condoms don't mix with certain lubrication. So that's something to be like aware of when you're trying to practice safe sex, like making sure your condoms and your lube don't go against each other. Like, for example, coconut oil is like a really great lubricant if you are not using protection. But if you are, then you wouldn't want to use coconut oil because it will destroy the condom.